Welcome po sa ating cash and cash equivalent problem solving. So, ang mechanics po ng video na ito is, i-flash ko po ang problems or questions, practice questions sa screen mo kagaya nito. Then, ipo-pause mo yung video, then you solve the problem. Pag na-solve mo na yung problem, tsaka mo siya i-play ulit. So, sa video na ito, meron tayong 10 questions. After those 10 questions, then makikita mo yung solutions. So, sa solution, isusulat ko po dito lahat ng mga concept na gagamitin natin sa pag-analyze ng problem na ito. Okay? Kagaya nito. Until the date of the check. Ang entry ng company kapag na-receive niya ang cheque, whether this is post-dated or not, or kung ready ka nang mag-solve ng problem ng cash and cash equivalent, then halika, samahan mo ako sa pag-analyze ng cash and cash equivalent. Problem number 1 tayo. So, every time na magsosolve tayo ng problem, ang una natin gagawin is to read the requirements of the problem. Anong hinahanap ng problem mo? Anong nire-require niya na isolve mo dito sa problem? So, question number 1, the requirement is, what amount should be reported as cash and cash equivalent on Ariel's balance sheet? So, itong cash and cash equivalent, i-combine natin siya. Yan ang hinahanap ng problem. Alright? So, the following are held by Ariel's company. First item is the cash in checking account. Siyempre, kasama yan sa ating cash. Okay? So, 50,000 po yan na cash in checking account. Item number 2. Item number 2 is cash in bond sinking fund. So, ano ba itong cash in bond sinking fund? Ito po yung mga sinesegregate na amount intended for payment of our liabilities. Okay? So, itong liabilities, meron tayong portion na current liability, meron tayong portion na long-term liability. So, current and long-term. Kung ang sinabi ng problem ay this cash in bond sinking fund is intended for the current liability, then we will classify that cash in bond sinking fund as cash. Okay? But if the problem is silent, then we assumed the cash in bond sinking fund is intended for the long-term liability. So, kapag intended ito sa long-term liability, and long-term liability is a non-current liability, therefore, this item number 2, cash in bond sinking funds, should be classified as non-current assets. Alright? Nagpaparallel yan doon sa liability. Hindi siya kasama sa ating cash. Alright? Item number 3, post-dated checks from customer dated 1 month from balance sheet date. So, ano ba itong post-dated check? So, naka-receive ang company as payment ng mga customers sa kanya, pero post-dated checks. So, kapag post-dated checks, hindi mo pa siya mai-encash until the date of the check. Kung post-dated check ito 1 month from our balance sheet date, hindi natin pwede siyang i-encash. So, therefore, hindi natin siya dapat i-include sa ating cash. Alright? So, this post-dated checks receive. So, every time the company collects, whether this is a post-dated check or hindi siya post-dated checks, ang entry ng company kapag na-receive niya ang cheque, whether this is post-dated or not, ang journal entry ng company is debit to cash and credit to accounts receivable. So, yan ang entry ng company kapag na-receive niya ang post-dated check. Okay? As of December 31st, nung nag-prepare na ang accountant ng financial statement ng company, itong cash na ito dapat hindi siya included sa ating cash amount. Alright? So, anong gagawin ng company? The company will revert it back to the accounts receivable to show the right amount of your accounts receivable at right amount ng ating cash. So, ang gagawin ng company, i-revert back niya sa accounts receivable at aalisin niya ito sa ating cash. Because as of December 31st, hindi pa natin mai-encash yan. Kailan natin siya mai-encash? Pagdating natin sa date ng cheque onwards. Alright? So, as of December 31st, our journal entry or adjusting journal entry is debit to accounts receivable and credit to cash. Alright? So, itong item number 3 na post-dated check, hindi siya dapat kasama sa ating cash and cash equivalent. Alright? Item number 4. Item number 4 is a petty cash fund amounting to 500. Siyempre, kasama yan. Yan ay isa sa mga funds na ginagamit ng company for their current operations. Alright? Petty cash fund is intended for those small expenses. So yan, kasama yan sa ating solution. Item number 5 is a commercial paper. Alright? Matures in 2.5 months. Alright? This is considered as a cash equivalent. So, to be considered as a cash equivalent, kailangan nagpo-fall siya sa 3-month rule from the purchase date up to the maturity date. Since our commercial paper matures in 2.5 months, pasok siya sa ating 3-month rule. Alright? So, ito kasama siya, which is considered as cash equivalent. Cash equivalent of 7,000. Alright? Item number 6, certificate of deposits matures in 8 months. Alright, ito namang certificate of deposit, this is another instrument, but we cannot consider this as a cash equivalent kasi hindi siya pasok sa 3-month rule natin. So, kung hindi siya maka-classify as a cash equivalent, saan natin siya dapat ika-classify? Matures in 3 months and below, then we consider that as a cash equivalent. Kapag above 3 months or more than 3 months up to 1 year, we classify that instrument as a short-term investment, or also we call it temporary investment. Alright? Then, kapag ang instrument ay more than 1 year, we classify that as a long-term investment. So, lahat po yun, ito lang ang pwede nating i-consider sa cash and cash equivalent natin. And our answer is letter A. Alright, question number 2. So, requirement ng question number 2 is, what amount should be classified as cash on Aaron's balance sheet at December 31st, year 1? Okay, so ang hinahanap dito ay yung cash. Now, Aaron Company has a checking account at Metro Bank and another account at Harris Bank. It's a different bank. On December 31st, year 1, the bank reconciliations for Aaron are as follows. So, Metro Bank has a positive balance of 255,000 while yung balance niya kay Harris Bank ay negative balance, okay? This problem is about bank overdraft. So, ano bang concept natin sa bank overdraft? Sa bank overdraft, kapag same bank siya, pwede mo siyang i-offset. Same bank, but different account. Alright? Pwede mo siyang i-offset yung negative balance mo doon sa positive balance mo sa the same na bangko na yon. While different bank, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-offset, kagaya ng ating problem. We cannot offset unless the amount is immaterial. So, kailangan sasabihin ng problem mo na ang amount na yon ay immaterial. Otherwise, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-offset. So, on this problem, Metro Bank and Harris Banks are different bank. So, ang answer natin dito ay 255,000. So, yung kay Metro Bank. So, yung kay Metro Bank lang ang pwede natin i-classify as a cash. So, our answer is letter B. So, saan natin i-classify yung 5,000 na balance natin sa Harris Bank? That is classified as a current liability. Alright? Alright, question number 3. What is the net cash balance after the reconciliations? So, bank reconciliations po ito. Remember, we have 3 methods of bank reconciliations. We have the book-to-bank balance, we have the bank-to-book balance, at ito pong adjusted balance method. Ang tinatanong ng problem is yung net cash balance. So, ang gagamitin natin ay adjusted balance method. So, itong adjusted bank balance at adjusted book balance, parehas lang po yan. Let's have an overview of our adjusted balance method. Sa adjusted balance method, nire-reconcile natin itong bank balance at saka book balance. And we reconcile these items to come out with our adjusted bank balance. This is actually our adjusted cash balance, okay, na ipapakita natin sa ating financial statements. Itong bank balance na ito, nanggagaling ito sa bank statement, alright? Itong book balance na ito, nanggagaling ito sa record ng company. Now, itong mga reconciling items na ito yung mga items na ginawa ng bangko na hindi pa nagagawa ng book or hindi pa nagagawa ng company. Merong mga items din or transactions or activities na ginawa ng company, inad niya or minus niya sa kanyang record na hindi pa nagagawa ng bangko. Kaya, kung ano yung mga ginawa ng book, yun ang magiging reconciling items natin sa bangko, sa bank balance. Kung ano naman yung mga ginawa ng bangko sa account ni company, sa record ni company, yun ang reconciling items natin sa book balance. Alright? On the bank balance, one of the reconciling item ay itong ang deposit in transit. Ina-add po natin ito sa bank balance. Bakit natin ina-add? Ano ba itong deposit in transit? Meron itong for deposit na siya pero hindi pa ito nakakarating sa bangko. And that deposit is called deposit in transit. In-add na siya ng company sa kanyang book balance at hindi pa nakakarating sa bank para mag-reconcile sila, tugma silang dalawa, deposit in transit is added to the bank balance. Ito namang outstanding check, mina-minus natin. Bakit natin mina-minus? Kasi sa company's book balance, minus na niya. Ano ba itong outstanding checks? Itong outstanding checks, ito yung mga inisyo ng company, pambayad niya sa mga utang niya. Alright? Pero itong mga pinagkakautangan ni company, hindi pa nakakarating sa bangko para i-encash yung check na yon. So, outstanding itong check-in na yon sa account ni company. Alright? So, si bangko, hindi pa niya na-minus yon. Para magtugma silang dalawa, dahil na-minus na ito sa book balance, i-minus natin sa bank balance. Now, dito naman sa book balance, yung mga activities ni bangko na hindi pa na-add or nadideduct sa book balance, i-reconcile din natin yan. For example, collections. Sometimes, the company gives the right to the bank magkolekta ng mga receivables ng company. So, kapag nakakolekta na si bangko, ina-add niya ito sa account ni company. Hanggat hindi nalalaman ni company yon, hindi pa niya na-add sa kanyang book balance. So, itong mga ina-add ni bangko, ang tawag mo dyan ay mga credit memos. So, ang gagawin ng bangko, mag-i-issue siya ng credit memo to tell the company na meron siyang in-add sa account ni company. Alright? So, yan ang transactions ni bank. So, lahat ng ina-add ni bank sa account ni company, yan po ay nasa credit memo natin. Alright? Lahat din naman po ng mga dinideduct ng bangko sa account ni company, yan po ang mga debit memos natin. Alright? Like, for example, the bank service charge, NSF checks. So, dinideduct yan ng bangko. So, ang gagawin natin, i-deduct din natin yan, debit memos na yan sa book balance para magtutugma silang dalawa. Alright? For the errors, depende sa errors. It's either we add or we minus the errors. Now, sa errors naman, whoever committed the errors should correct those errors sa kanilang mga record. Then we come up with adjusted balance and these two amounts should be equal. Alright? Now, balik tayo sa ating problem. The requirement is what is the net cash balance after the reconciliation? Adrian's monthly bank statement shows a balance of 65,800. So, itong amount na 65,800 nanggaling sa bank statement. So, ang ibig sabihin, this is our bank balance. Alright? So, ang tinatanong ng problem ay net cash balance. Pwede natin kunin yan sa bank balance or pwede natin kunin yan sa adjusted book balance. The problem gives us the bank balance. Ito po ang gagamitin natin. First item is the bank service charge. Yan po ay debit memo. So, kasama yan sa reconciling item ng book balance. So, hindi natin yan isasama sa bank balance natin. Sa reconciling item ng bank balance. Ano lang ang kailangan natin is the deposit in transit and the outstanding check. Now, the second item is insufficient fund of 2,500. That's another debit memo. Okay? Then, outstanding check, which is 2,450. That item is a reconciling item of the bank balance. So, kasama yan sa ating solution. Alright? So, we will minus this outstanding check to come out with adjusted bank balance or to come out with adjusted cash balance. Alright? So, we minus the outstanding checks. The other item is the deposit in transit of 5,000. So, deposit in transit, kasama yan sa reconciling item ng bank balance. So, kasama dito sa ating solutions. So, we add our deposit in transit of 5,000. Alright? Then, checks deposited by Adrian and cleared by the bank for 250, but improperly recorded by Adrian as 520. That's an error committed by the company. So, yan ay reconciling items sa book balance. So, our answer, 68,350. That is our adjusted cash balance. Yan po ang hinahanap ng problem. And our answer is letter C. Question number 4. The requirement is, what is the net cash balance after the reconciliations? So, another reconciliation problem na naman tayo. Halos magkaparesa sa number 3 natin. So, Adrian Company's book balance shows a balance of 5,800. So, this time, ang given sa problem is the company's book balance. So, book balance ang given. So, kung ang tinatanong ay adjusted cash balance, ito ang gagamitin natin sa pag-analyze sa problem. Alright? So, the book balance is 5,800. Diyan tayo mag-uumpisa. Ano bang mga reconciling item natin sa book balance? Item number 1 is bank service charge of 1,000. So, itong bank service charge, i-deduct natin ito sa book balance because that is debit memo. Okay? Alright, bank service charge deductions tayo dyan. Insufficient fund, ito po yung NSF check ng customer na minus or diniduct ng bangko sa balance niya. So, i-deduct din natin ito sa book balance para magtutugma silang dalawa. Alright? So, we deduct insufficient fund. That's item number 2. So, NSF of 2,500. Item number 3 is outstanding check of 2,450. So, itong outstanding check ay reconciling items sa bank balance. Alright? Hindi ito reconciling items sa book balance. Na-deduct na po yan. Alright? Sa book balance. So, itong outstanding check, walang effect ito sa ating book balance. Item number 4 is deposit in transit of 5,000. Yan ay reconciling items sa bank balance. Hindi po yan reconciling items sa book balance. Alright? Now, checks deposit by Adrian and cleared by the bank for 250, but improperly recorded by Adrian as 520. So, ang ibig sabihin, yung error na yun committed by the company. Ang totoong amount is 250, pero na-record ni Adrian Company as 520. So, ang ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung inad niya sa kanyang cash balance, sa kanyang record. So, ano ba ang magiging effect nitong error na ito? So, 520 ang ni-record ng company, which is supposed to be 250 lang. Alright? So, the difference of 270 should be a deductions of the book balance. Alright? Bakit deductions? Kasi mas malaki yung ni-record niya. So, supposed to be, re-record lang niya is 250, pero na-record niya as 520. So, yung difference nitong error na ito, ima-minus natin. Alright? So, we come up with the net cash balance or adjusted cash balance of 2,030. So, yan po ang answer natin. And so, our answer will be letter A. Another bank reconciliation problem. So, in this problem number 5, the requirement is what is the net adjustment amount to bank balance. So, ano bang tinatanong ng problem? Yung net adjustment amount sa bank balance. So, ito na naman ang gagamitin natin, yung bank balance dito sa adjusted balance method. So, ang tinatanong ng problem ay kung magkano lang yung net adjustment natin dito sa bank balance. So, ito lang ang kukunin natin. Alright? Yan lang po ang tanong ng problem. Yung deposit in transit, yung mga reconciling items na ina-add at dinideduct natin sa bank balance to come up with adjusted cash balance. So, on September 30 of the current year, ang kukunin lang po natin to solve this problem ay yung mga reconciling items. Then, we will determine kung increase or decrease siya sa bank balance. Alright? Whereas, the book balance was 45,030. So, yan ay book balance. Hindi natin kailangan yan. Dahil ito lang po ang kailangan natin sa requirement ng problem. Alright? Deposit in transit and cash on hand. Ayun, kailangan natin yung deposit in transit. Amounted to 1,000 and 840 respectively. So, ang deposit in transit sa problem na ito ay 1,000. Alright? So, kailangan natin ng deposit in transit. During September, the bank collected a 2,050 note for the company and charged the account of 50 for service fees. Ano ba yung 2,050 na nakolekta ni bangko para sa company? Ito po yung credit memo natin. Alright? Ito po yan. And yung 50, ano ba yung 50 na service charge? Yan po yung bank service charge. Another debit memo. Alright? So, dito yan, reconciling item ng book balance. So, hindi natin kailangan yan to solve the problem dahil ito lang po ang kailangan natin. In addition, a check of 1,100 received from a customer and deposited by the company was returned on September 30 for lack of funds. Ano yung 1,100 na ni-receive ng company na bayad ng customer pero walang pundo yung customer, lack of funds, yan po ay NSF check. So that's a reconciling item of the book balance. Hindi natin kailangan yan kasi ang kailangan lang natin yung reconciling item sa bank balance. Alright? The following checks were outstanding at the end of September. Check number 505, kailangan natin yan. So ito, mga ito, outstanding checks. Yan po yung kailangan natin. Yan po ay isa sa mga reconciling item ng bank balance. So, kailangan po natin yan. So, we have our outstanding checks. So, magkano ba ang outstanding checks natin? Check number 505 of 650. Check number 678 of 45. And another check number 789 amounting to 25. So, all in all, yan na po yung mga outstanding checks natin. So, magkano ang outstanding checks natin? We have 720 outstanding checks. Yan po ay minus sa bank balance natin. Alright? So, we have an addition of 1,000 as the deposit in transit in minus of an outstanding check of 720. Ang net adjustment natin sa bank balance na yan ay 280. Since it's positive, that means it's an increase 280. So, ang answer natin ay letter D. Alright? Alright, question number 6. So the requirement is what total amount of cash and cash equivalent on December 31st year 1. So ang tanong dito ay both cash and cash equivalent, okay? Christina Company had the following balances on December 31st year 1. Cash on hand of 600,000, kasama yan sa ating cash and cash equivalent. Alright? Another item is cash in money market account. That's a cash equivalent. So, kasama yan sa ating amount. Alright? Another item is cash in bank with compensating balance of 420,000 restricted as to withdrawal. So, meron tayong cash in bank amounting to 1,700,000. Out of this, meron tayong compensating balance of 420,000. Ano ba itong compensating balance na ito? So, kapag umutang ang company sa bangko, usually yung bangko nagre-require sila ng compensating balance. A compensating balance is the minimum amount na kailangang i-maintain ng company sa account niya. Ang tawag dyan ay compensating balance. Itong compensating balance pwedeng maging restricted as to withdrawal or unrestricted as to withdrawal. So kapag ang compensating balance na ito ay unrestricted, we classify this as cash, okay? Kapag ang compensating balance ay restricted as to the withdrawal, then we cannot classify this as cash. Alright? So, paano natin ika-classify itong restricted compensating balance? Ika-classify po natin siya if this compensating balance arises from the short-term borrowing, then we classify this as a current asset. Alright? Pero kapag ang compensating balance restricted and it arises from the long-term borrowing, then we classify this restricted compensating balance as non-current asset. So we have our cash in bank minus the 420,000 na compensating balance restricted as to withdrawal. Alright? So we have a cash in bank na 1,280,000. Now, another item is time deposit purchased November 15, year 1, maturing February 10, year 2. So kapag ang problem binigyan ka ng dates, then you have to determine kung pasok siya sa 3-month rule ng cash equivalent. Okay? So, kapag pasok siya sa 3-month rule, we consider that as a cash equivalent. So, itong time deposit na pinurchase nila ng November 15 at magmamature siya ng February 10, pasok yan sa 3-month rule. So, kasama yan sa ating total cash and cash equivalent. Alright? So, ang total cash and cash equivalent natin ay 4 million. The answer is letter D. Alright, question number 7. So, question number 7, the requirement is on December 31st, year 2, what amount should be reported as cash under current assets? So, ang tinatanong ng problem ay cash lang. Walang cash equivalent, okay? Minecraft Company had the following balances on December 31st, year 2. Cash in bank, number 1, amounting to 3,500,000. Siyempre, kasama yan sa total cash natin. Alright, another item is cash in bank number 2. Cash in bank number 2 amounting to 20,000, which is an overdraft. Okay, so ano ba itong overdraft? So sa bank overdraft, kapag same bank, pwede natin siyang i-offset. Kapag different bank naman, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-offset unless the amount is immaterial. Kapag immaterial, pwede mo siyang i-deduct. But, kailangan i-mention doon sa problem that the amount is immaterial. Otherwise, we assume it's material, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-deduct. Okay? So, sa cash in bank number 2, na overdraft 20,000, that should be classified as current liability. Another item is cash on hand of 2 million. Alright, syempre kasama yan sa ating total cash. Meron pang mga adjustment itong 2 million. Okay? So, ilalagay muna natin yung 2 millions in parentheses. Alright? Another item is manager's check. Syempre, kasama yan sa total cash natin. Amounting to 30,000. Alright, outstanding checks. Alright, ano ba itong outstanding checks? Ito yung mga inisyu ni company, pambayad niya sa mga pinagkakautangan niya, pero yung mga pinag-isyuhan niya ng cheque, hindi pa pumupunta ng bangko para ma-encash. So, yung cash na yun, nandun pa rin sa bangko mo. Okay? This is what we call outstanding checks. So, nabawas na natin yan sa ating record. So, itong outstanding checks, hindi na i-include sa ating cash. This is actually a reconciling items on our bank balance sa bank reconciliation. But itong problem na ito is not about bank reconciliation. So, itong outstanding check, hindi natin i-consider ito. Now, another item is traveler's checks. Kasama po yan sa cash natin. Amounting to 50,000. Now, another item is money market account. Money market account is considered as cash equivalent. Pero dito sa problem natin, hindi tinatanong ang cash equivalent, kundi tinatanong lang kung magkano ang cash. Hindi natin i-consider yan sa ating total cash. Another item is the cash on hand included 90,000 drawn by Minecraft delivered on January 15 of year 3. Alright, ano ba itong 90,000 na ito? This is undelivered checks, okay? Ang nangyari is, nag-issue ng check si company pero hindi niya deliver agad sa payee. Okay? Nung issue date, the company record a debit to accounts payable and credit to cash. So, as of December 31st, on your financial statement date, okay, this check-in, nasa kanya pa rin yun. So, may control pa rin siya sa check-in na yan. Alright, sa amount na yan. This undelivered check should be included in our cash. Alright? So, ang mangyayari, we have to revert it back to the accounts payable. So, our adjusting journal entry on December 31st on our financial statement date is debit to cash and credit to accounts payable. So, ang ibig sabihin, itong undelivered checks, so it should be included in our cash. But, ang sabi ng problem mo, the cash on hand na 2 millions included 90,000. So, included na yan sa 90,000. So, hindi na natin kailangan i-adjust kasi nandyan na po yun. Another part of the cash on hand amounting to 120,000 was a check received from customer dated February 1st of year 3. Alright, so ano ito? This is a post-dated check received from the customer. Alright, anong nangyari? Nung ni-receive nila ang check-in na ito, post-dated check from the customer, nag-entry sila ng debit to cash and credit to the accounts receivable, canceling that accounts receivable kasi na nga, nag-issue na ng check yung customer. Alright? But as of December 31st, dahil post-dated check siya, hindi natin mai-encash sa bangko. Therefore, we cannot consider this as cash. So, kailangan hindi siya kasama sa account na cash. Alright? On December 31st, we will revert it back to accounts receivable. So, ang entry natin sa December 31st is debit to accounts receivable and credit to cash to show the right amount of your accounts receivable and the right amount of your cash. So, ito hindi dapat included sa cash natin. But ang sabi ng problem, another part of the cash on hand amounted to 120,000. So, nandun yan sa 2 million. So, aalisin natin yan kasi hindi dapat yan kasali. So, we come up with cash on hand of 1 million. So, we come up with the cash on hand of 1,880,000. So, we have a total cash of 5,460,000. Yan po ang answer natin. And our answer is letter B. Alright, question number 8. The requirement is what amount should be reported as cash on December 31st? So, ang tinatanong dito ay cash lang. Alright? So, Roger Company reported the following informations at year end. Cash on hand amounting to 3,650,000. So, ito included sa ating cash. Pero meron tayong mga adjustment na gagawin. So, ilalagay muna natin dito ang 3,650,000 as our cash on hand. Alright. Included a customer check amounting to 300,000 dated January 4 of the next year. So, ano itong 300,000 na ito? Post-dated checks received from the customer. Okay? As of December 31st, hindi pa niya mai-encash yung check na yan sa bangko kasi nga, dated in the future. Post-dated check received from the customer should not be included in our cash. So, itong 300,000 na ito ay hindi natin dapat ito i-include sa ating cash on hand to get our total cash. Another check amounting to 255,000 drawn by Roger Company for payment to supplier dated January 10 of the next year, not included on the amount of cash on hand. Ano itong 255,000 na ito? Ito po ay post-dated check issued by the company or post-dated check drawn by the company. So, anong nangyari? Nung in-issue niya yung check na ito, entry ang company na debit to accounts payable and credit to cash. Dahil post-dated, supplier, hindi pa niya mai-encash yan. Alright? So, meron pang control ang company whether i-cancel niya o hindi. So, as of December 31st, we are going to revert it back to cash. Should be included in our cash. So, itong 255,000, ibabalik natin yan sa ating cash. So, we have a cash on hand amounting to 3,605,000. Second item, government treasury bills of 1,400,000 with a 10-year term but purchased on December 20th, at which time they had 2 months to go until maturity. So, this government treasury bills napasok sa 3-month rule ng cash equivalent. Okay? This is considered as our cash equivalent. Pero ang hinahanap ng problem natin ay yung cash lang, hindi cash and cash equivalent. Alright? So, itong government treasury bills, hindi natin yan i-include sa ating cash. And another item is cash in bank of 2,350,000. Syempre yan, kasama sa ating cash. Alright, 2,350,000. Included 580,000 of compensating balance against short-term borrowing arrangement. The compensating balance is not legally restricted as to withdrawal. So, ang compensating balance kapag unrestricted siya, kasama siya sa cash. Alright? Kapag restricted naman siya, and this compensating balance arises from the short-term borrowing, ika-classify natin yan as a current asset. Kapag it arises from the long-term borrowing, then we classify that as non-current assets. So therefore, itong 580,000 dahil hindi ito legally restricted, unrestricted siya, kasama siya sa cash in bank. So, wala tayong adjustment sa cash in bank na 2,350,000. Therefore, ang total amount ng cash natin ay 5,955,000. And our answer is letter D. Right? Alright, question number 9 requirement. What is the adjusted amount of the checkbook on December 31st of year 4? Alright, Call of Duty Company reported the checkbook balance on December 31st, year 4 at 7,380,000 and held the following items on the same date. So, ang hinahanap ng problem dito ay adjusted checkbook balance. Ang unadjusted checkbook balance natin ay 7,380,000. At itong mga items na ito ay i-analyze natin one by one. Alright? So, we are going to start with the checkbook balance. Alright? Item number 1. Check received from customer A dated January 5 of year 5. Dated January 5, year 5. Included on our checkbook balance on December 31st, year 4. So, amounting to 340,000. Alright. So, ano itong 340,000? Ito po yung post-dated check na ni-receive natin sa customer. Ang post-dated check should not be included in our cash. Bakit? Kasi itong post-dated check as of December 31st, hindi pa natin siya may cash. So, hindi siya dapat included sa ating cash. So, itong 340,000 na should be minus sa 7 million na checkbook balance natin. Alright? Alright, post-dated check from customer A. I-deduct natin yan. Another item is check received from customer B dated December 20 of year 4. Included in December 31st, your book balance. Alright, December 20. So, ang ibig sabihin, pwede na natin i-cash yan. Pwede nang i-clear ng bangko yan. So, itong check-in na ito, dapat included dito sa ating checkbook balance. Pero ang sabi ng problem, included in December 31st, your 4 checkbook balance. So, nandito na po yan. So, yan, yung item na yan, hindi natin i-adjust or wala tayong adjustment. Another item is check received from customer C, deposited December 20 of year 4, included December 31st checkbook balance, but returned by the bank on December 30, stamped NSF check amounting to 235,000. So, kapag meron tayong NSF check, anong ginagawa natin? Ibabalik natin yan sa accounts receivable. So, our entry should be, or adjusting journal entry will be debit to accounts receivable and credit to cash. So, itong NSF check should not be included on our checkbook balance. Another item is checks drawn by Call of Duty Company for payment to supplier A, dated and recorded in the books on December 31st, year 4, but not mailed until January 2nd of year 5. So, this one is undelivered check. So, anong gagawin natin sa undelivered check? Supplier A, hindi niya may cash yun kasi wala pa sa kamay niya. Alright? Kasi nga, undelivered check. So, it's the same concept with the post-dated check dahil hindi pa niya mai-cash. So, this undelivered check should be included in our cash. Amounting to 580,000. Nung inisyo yung check-in na yun, binawas na yan sa checkbook balance natin. Pero dapat kasama pa rin yan. Alright? So, i-add back natin yan sa 7,380,000 na checkbook balance natin. Alright? 580,000 i-add back natin sa checkbook balance. Alright, last item. Check drawn by Call of Duty for payment to supplier B. Check is delivered on December 30th of year 4. Recorded in the books on December 31st, year 4. Check is dated January 7, year 5. So, next year pa yung date ng check-in na yan. So, ano itong 730,000? This is post-dated check drawn by the company. Alright? So, the same concept on the undelivered check. Yung post-dated check, kahit nasa kamay pa yan ng supplier, hindi pa niya mai-cash. Kasi post-dated checks nga siya. So, meanings, on December 31st, ibabalik natin yan sa cash at i-record natin ang ating accounts payable. Therefore, it should be included sa our cash. So, i-revert back natin sa cash para maipakita natin ang right amount ng cash natin at right amount ng accounts payable natin. So, itong post-dated check drawn ay added back to our checkbook balance. So, we have a adjusted checkbook balance of 8,115,000. And our answer is letter A. Alright, question number 10. Requirement is, what is the amount of cash and cash equivalent on December 31st, year 7? Okay, so ang hinahanap dito ay both cash and cash equivalent. Alright? Mahiwaga Company provided the following informations on December 31st of year 7. Cash on hand, syempre kasama yan sa ating total cash and cash equivalent of amounting to 1,630,000. Alright? Included in cash on hand collections from January 5th, year 8, but recorded on December 31st, year 7, amounting to 30,000. Tama ba ang ginawa ng company? Kinolekta niya ng January 5 pero ni-record niya ng December 31st. Paano nangyari yon? Yung book ng company open pa siya. So, ang ibig sabihin, pwede pang i-record ang mga collections na nangyari ng January. So, ang gagawin natin ay aalisin natin ito sa cash on hand natin. Because as of December 31st, wala pa yung cash collections na yan. Alright? So, we minus 30,000. So, the cash on hand of Mahiwaga Company is 1,600,000. Now, another item is petty cash fund amounting to 80,000, which includes unreplenished IOUs of 20,000 and a petty cash fund expense of 15,300. So, sa petty cash funds, lahat ng unreplenished kailangan i-record na natin at ibabawas natin yan sa petty cash fund. Ano ba itong petty cash fund? Ito po yung mga segregated na amount para sa mga small expenses ng company. Alright? So, unreplenished, hindi pa ito na ibabalik. So, aalisin na natin yan sa petty cash fund at i-recognize na natin yung mga expenses na yan. Or our entry for this IOU is debit to advances to employees and credit to petty cash fund. Yung mga expenses naman, we will record debit to expenses and credit to petty cash fund. So, itong petty cash fund na 80,000, ima-minus natin itong unreplenished. Alright? So, we have a net balance of the petty cash fund as 44,700. Alright? Yan na lang ang natitira sa petty cash fund natin. Now, another item is BDO current account number 1 amounting to 2,450,000. Includes supplier's check for purchase return dated January 12, year 8. So, ano itong 50,000 na ito? Post-dated check received, okay? It includes supplier's check for purchase return. So, nag-return tayo ng inventory kay supplier. Si supplier, binigyan tayo ng post-dated check. Alright? So, itong post-dated check received should not be included in our cash. So, anong gagawin natin? Aalisin natin ito sa ating BDO current account na amounting to 50,000. Alright? So, ang net na lang na natitira sa ating BDO account is 2,400,000. Alright? Now, BDO current account number 2, overdraft is 2,000. So, ito, negative balance tayo sa BDO number 2 natin. So, kapag same bank, pwede mo siyang i-offset whether this is material or immaterial in amount. Alright? So, si BDO Number 2, ibabawas natin. Pwede natin siyang i-offset. Pwede natin siyang ibawas. Alright? Metrobank current account amounting to 850,000. Metrobank, alright, includes a check payment to supplier dated December 30 but not mailed till January 5 amounting to 65,000. So ano ba itong 65,000? Undelivered check. Sa undelivered check, kailangan included pa rin yan sa ating cash. Bakit? Kasi hindi nga mai-encash ng supplier dahil nasa kamay pa ng company. Alright? So, it should be included in our cash. Pero ang sabi ng problem natin is includes a check payment to supplier. So, included na yan. Hindi nga lang na email. Alright? So, yung Metrobank na account natin, wala tayong adjustment. Kasi nga, included na po siya. Alright? And it should be included. Last item is money market placement amounting to 720,000 was purchased December 5, year 7, and is due February 28 of year 8. So this is a cash equivalent. The money market placement is an instrument, and to be able to classify this as a cash equivalent, kailangan it falls into the 3-month rule. Alright? Yung 3-month rule, yun po yung from purchase date up to the maturity date. So, ang purchase date natin sa money market placement na ito ay December 5 of year 7 at magmamature siya ng February 28, year 8. So, pasok pa rin siya sa 3-month rule natin. Alright? So, that is our cash equivalent. Alright. So, our total amount of our cash and cash equivalent is 5,612,700. And our answer is letter C. So, dito po nagtatapos ang ating problem solving. I hope marami kayong natutunan dito po sa ating problem solving. Then, I will see you next, accounts receivable. I'll see you there.